Coming up, people are hitting the roads early to get a head start to the long holiday weekend and feeling the effects of holiday traffic. And people are coming in from the region for the third annual Paddle Blast in Laurel County, which is set to kick off this weekend. Plus, one man traveling along the Hal Rogers Parkway had a close call when his vehicle caught fire.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning and happy 4th of July. The time is just about 5:31. Let's check in with Brandon Robinson for a look at your forecast this morning. And Brandon, good morning.
Good morning. And things are basically the same as they have been all week long, and that trend's going to continue today, possibly tomorrow as well. Let's take a look, see what's going on across the region. We start with the cameras. US 119 up on top of Whitesburg Pine Mountain. Some rain up there overnight. Not much fog yet, but a lot of other locations seeing some very dense fog, less than a mile in a lot of locations this morning. Last 6 hours. The rain moved out and trying to redevelop there off to our south. We'll keep watching that throughout the morning. 60s and close to 70 there across parts of the area, across the state. More of the same, 60s and 70s all over. We're looking at the temperatures to slow down just a little bit there as we head into the morning hours, about 7:30, getting down to the upper 60s, and then we'll see 85 this afternoon as some chances for scattered showers and storms return. Full forecast is on the way in a few minutes. Connor?
All right, thanks, Brandon. President Trump is holding his Salute to America event later today in the nation's capital. He's reportedly spending several millions of dollars to showcase U.S. military hardware and put on an air show for the crowds. But some are questioning the need for the display and the president's motives. CBS's Nicole Killian is at the National Mall in Washington, where it's all going to happen.
President Trump is promising the show of a lifetime for his Salute to America event on the 4th of July. The president is bringing tanks, warplanes to conduct flyovers, and other big military hardware to Washington's National Mall for the celebration. President Trump is receiving a mix of praise and pushback for the event, which is a separate event taking place in addition to the annual Independence Day festivities in the nation's capital.
I think it's really a neat thing to see them displaying our military during the 4th of July.
And look how proud our military is.
It's not any one president or any one person's day. It's America's day.
The National Park Service is reportedly diverting $2.5 million slated for improvements at other parks for the president's event.
And there's a VIP section with some tickets going to Republican donors.
This business of diverting money and military assets to use them as a kind of prop, to prop up a presidential ego, is not reflecting well on our country.
Flying a B-2 bomber costs more than $120,000 an hour, according to the Air Force. Officials say the cost is already budgeted because this is considered a training event. As the military vehicles moved into place, President Trump tweeted, "The cost of our great salute to America tomorrow will be very little compared to what it is worth." The president, who says he's holding the event to honor U.S. Armed Forces, plans to deliver a patriotic speech at the Lincoln Memorial. Nicole Killian, CBS News, Washington.
The National Park Service confirmed additional costs for the Salute to America event, but said that amount is still being determined. And many people hit the roads yesterday to get a head start on the long holiday weekend. People passing through London on Interstate 75 said they could tell a significant difference in traffic from Tuesday to Wednesday. Gas station employees said they expected heavy traffic, especially with ongoing construction. Employees say the traffic is good for them.
It's good for the restaurants, it's good for the hotels, and I mean even these mom and pop shops that we have over here, it's good for everyone when it keeps getting busier and busier.
Gas station employees say they expect the traffic is only going to get worse through the holiday weekend. And despite this holiday traffic, road work to widen I-75 through Laurel County continued yesterday. Officials say crews are working on putting up barrier walls and moving topsoil to finish some of the work before the long weekend. Kentucky Transportation Department officials say there will not be any more work on that section of I-75 until next week. And a close call yesterday for a truck driver on the Hal Rogers Parkway. Take a look at the damage. That driver, Timothy Townsend, said he noticed the trailer was smoking. He pulled over at the Leslie County-Clay County line, and that's where the smoke caught the rubber and set fire to the trailer. There were no injuries, thankfully. The Big Creek Fire Fire and Rescue Department helped put out the flames. Now, the average price of gas here in Kentucky is about $2.59. That's about 6 cents cheaper than around Memorial Day. We've mapped out what you can expect here in eastern Kentucky. You will notice east of I-75, gas is higher than the rest of the mountains. You will find the lowest average in the state of in Laurel County, where gas is about $2.37 a gallon. And tonight, millions of Americans will be celebrating the 4th of July with fireworks. Every year, it's believed hundreds of people will visit the emergency room with injuries from explosions. CBS's Kenneth Craig reports.
Fireworks can be a blast, and plenty of people will be setting off their own at home. But as this demonstration shows, it comes with risk. On Sunday, paramedics were called to a home in Philadelphia. A little girl lost almost all of her fingers after an explosive like this blew up in her hands.
She had cuts and burns to her chest and torso area and to her face.
Her father purchased the illegal device on the street, believing it was a firework.
They're not fireworks in any way, shape, or form. These, by definition, are improvised explosive devices.
Illegal and homemade explosives are a major safety hazard. It's one reason why about 180 people go to the emergency room every day with fireworks-related injuries in the weeks around July 4th. Many accidents happen when flying fireworks are involved, and 44% of injuries involve burns, often from sparklers.
Those can run anywhere from 1,800 to 2,000 degrees. I mean, just setting it on a kid's hand for only a moment can burn severely. The problem is it just takes one time, and that injury can be life-altering.
Michael Spencer knows that all too well.
People lose fingers.
Last year, he told the Consumer Product Safety Commission how a mortar-type explosive went off while he was holding it.
So off of my left hand, I lost my pinky, I lost my ring finger.
Experts say don't use illegal or recalled fireworks, never give them to children, and it's always safer just to watch a professional show from a distance. Kenneth Craig, CBS News, New York.
Safety officials say if you are going to use fireworks, keep a bucket of water or a garden hose nearby in case of fire, and never try to relight or pick up fireworks that did not ignite. And the third annual Lovely Laurel River Lake Paddle Blast will kick off this Saturday. Officials say the paddle sports event is part of the Kentucky Waterman Series and promotes tourism in Laurel County. And there will be 1.5, 5, and 10-mile events. Officials say they expect between 80 and 200 people to show up from several surrounding areas, depending on the weather.
Whether they're coming up from Knoxville, they're coming up from South Carolina, they're coming from Indiana, Ohio, London, Laurel County is just an amazing stopping ground for surrounding states to come do family fun activities.
The deadline to register for the Paddle Blast is at 10 a.m. this morning. And Governor Jim Justice says West Virginia collected more revenue growth this fiscal year than any other year in state history. He announced in a news release Tuesday that general revenue growth hit $511 million in the fiscal year that ended Sunday. He says the increase is due to the state taking in high amounts of consumer sales, personal income, corporate net income, and severance taxes. Growth in oil and natural gas sales also contributed to the total. Justice says last fiscal year's revenue growth is 1.5 times the combined growth for the fiscal years 2007 and 2017. And a new study suggests lower incomes and incarceration may be contributing to drug-related deaths across the nation. The study, published in the journal Lancet Public Health, looked into drug deaths in more than 2,600 counties in the U.S. over more than 30 years. The U.S. drug-related deaths go up when income declines and more people are locked up. However, more research is needed to determine if those two factors cause an increase in drug deaths. And 2 parents are charged after their 3 children were found in what police call horrible conditions inside a Winchester home. Police arrested Michael and Laura Wilburn. Officers say they could smell urine from outside when they were outside the house. They also say there were 3 dogs, 2 cats, a snake, and a turtle in the home. Both parents are charged with criminal abuse. In Laurel County, a man is arrested after police say he was involved in a hit and run. The Laurel County Sheriff's Office is reporting that 55-year-old James Burden was arrested on Monday while deputies were investigating a hit and run from earlier that day. He told police the reason he left the scene of the crash was because he didn't have a driver's license, insurance, or registration. He is charged with leaving the scene of an accident and multiple other charges. And just ahead on Mountain News this morning, we'll take a look into the animated classic that's set to get a live-action remake.
Keep that WYMT weather app handy today if you're planning on being outside to celebrate America's birthday. I'll give you an idea of what we're expecting in about 3 minutes.